cell phones. And I'm just going to explain for a moment how this works today. The first method of resolving your case is called summary disposition, and summary disposition is for those of you who are not disputing whether there's a violation. You just simply need more time to take care of the violation. However, if this is a repeat violation, then unfortunately you're not eligible to receive summary disposition, so just keep that in mind. We are going to address the summary disposition cases first. And for anyone who elects to do summary disposition and is given extra time to comply, the potential fine for non-compliance is $30 per day for each day of non-compliance after the extra time, as opposed to the $50 normal fine. So the second way that we can address your case is by actually hearing your case. So you'll come up, you'll present your situation, and that's only if you're going to dispute whether there is a violation and you want to present testimony and evidence as to why I should reconsider a fine. So now, unless anyone has any questions, please stand so you can be sworn in by the clerk.
You affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Madam Clerk, you ready? So for everyone electing summary disposition, please form a line up in front of me and we'll go ahead and get your cases resolved. Nobody? Are you doing summary disposition or are you going to present testimony?
If you admit to the violation and you just need more time, you can go up and see the hearing officer and she will give you more time.
Okay.
If you want to dispute the violation, have your case heard and just wait and be called up as she hears the cases. So if you just need more time and you know you have the violation, just form a line behind that gentleman right there.
What if it's already been resolved?
Did you talk to the officer? Who's the officer? Who's the code enforcement officer that cited you?
I'm sorry, tell me your name.
What's your address?
Page you on.
Page 3.
Alrighty.
Page 3.
And how much time are you looking at?
What's the address?
It's Chris's case.
I don't know, 15 or 10 or 15 days.
Okay, so I'm not showing that it's compliant
We
right
had
now.
to,
So
a
I'm gonna
building
have to
permit
look at the
from the
case,
city of
and then what I
Lakeland
can do is
before we
then
could
present
get
it
a
in the
temporary
session,
power pole.
So I can go out
So
there
we
today.
could get the
and
water going,
Okay.
full clean.
Yeah.
So if it's ready, you can take the summary disposition.
Permit,
If it's ready, you can take the summary disposition and then,
We need to know what reference he is, because it's in under a business name.
oh, hold on a minute, it's what?
It's in a business name, it's in GG3 Investments LC. I need to know who
What's your
he is.
relationship to the business?
I think you can do it by the 15th.
yeah,
Maintain the property.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna have to hear it.
waiting on the,
We have to hear it because you're not the owner.
Okay.
it's been taking a long time, I don't know.
Everything's behind. All right.
Okay, we need the case page and all.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good?
Yes.
No.
For the hold on one second. Let me announce it for the record. For the record, this is case number LCE 20-05087. The owner is Tim Davis. We're doing admitting the violation, but allowing 10 days to come into compliance.
We have to get the officer to give the recommendation.
For 350.
10 days.
Okay. So that will be March 15th, sir. Okay. And that's on page 14.
Are you in charge of the trust?
Yes. I'm the manager of the trust.
Okay.
All right. Tammy, does he need to get paperwork from you?
Yeah, he needs to sign this form.
You can step that way. Thank you.
I just need your signature on the bottom. And that's it. You'll get notification in the mail. Thank you.
It's for the roof.
1411 for me?
It's right here for you.
Thank you. What I put in my note.
Is there anybody else for summary disposition?
I think they're still trying to figure it out, man.
Yeah, like trying to figure out, like, I'm not sure, it's first time, so back in,
Okay.
Ma'am,
original notes
I'm sorry,
are-
ma'am, I don't want to interrupt you, but we do record the proceedings, so I think if you're confused, then it's probably best to just go ahead and hear your case, and then we can try to clear up any confusion hearing the case. The summary disposition is only for people that understand what the violation is and want to go ahead and admit to it. So if you don't understand, then we'll go ahead and we'll have to hear your case, and we'll make sure that everything's clear at that time.
Okay. Tammy, do you need a minute or are you good?
I'm waiting to see what he's doing.
Steve, we're gonna probably have to hear the case so we can get moving forward.
Were you guys here to be sworn in? Were you here to be sworn in?
They were not. They came in late.
Whoever's gonna speak.
If you're speaking, then yes. No, I just need to know, you're gonna stand up because you're gonna be testifying. We just need to swear you in.
Yeah, I do apologize.
Okay, try your hand up. Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth? There you go. That's it. Nothing painful. You're good.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and move into the hearing portion of the meeting then this morning. And correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk, but we're starting on page 2, I believe, with the estate of John Scott. Alicia Williams?
yes.
Come on down. And for the record, this is LCE 20-00412. And your name, ma'am?
I'm Alicia Williams.
How you doing?
Good.
Okay, so how can we help?
Oh,
So,
wait, ma'am, hold on. Can we read the case in first, please?
Sure.
Read that real quick. Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LCE 20-00412. Address is 610 Lakehurst Street. Owner is listed as the estate of John Rex Scott. Violation is ordinance 3947, Chapter 3. It's pertaining to exterior issues with the home. Date of violation was January 14th, 2020. It was to be corrected by March 14th, 2020. A reinspection was done on January 29th, 2021. Result was the violation still existed. We took photos on February 26th, 2021, which shows it's still in violation. City recommends compliance by May 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine may be imposed.
I'm sorry, what was the compliance day, May 4th?
May 4th, yes, ma'am.
All right. And Ms. Williams, go ahead.
okay, so I wasn't aware of any of them letters or violations. So back in 2019, we had got like, I guess something that owed the city of Lakeland. And then back in 2020, it was like everything that we needed to do. But at that time, back in 2019, this was like, well, the effective date was 7/9/18. So Miss Eva passed away in November 15, 2018. So that was going on all that process. But on January 28th, 2020, all we got back was this case shall be dismissed with no fine. And that was the final letter that we've gotten.
May I see that?
That's what I'm assuming.
Go back.
Ma'am, can you also tell us what your relationship is to John Scott, since the city's showing John Scott's estate as the owner of the
I
property?
actually have no relation to John Scott. So Miss Eva Scott was the last living survivor of that house. And once she passed away, the kids gave me possession of the house, Miss Eva's kids. As far as I know, everyone is deceased.
So is it in probate or?
So, right, so I'm trying to get it in probate, so everything can be converted into my name. That way I can get permits to actually do something with the house. Because right now I can't get permits to do anything.
Do you have a timeline for that process?
Right now I've had possession of it for 3 years.
But you don't know when the title will be put in your name, or you don't have any idea of how long it's gonna take to?
No. I mean, I don't even know if the city will allow me to do anything without, permit, like, stuff is not in my name.
You won't be allowed to pull permit if you don't
Yeah,
have
that's what I'm
ownership.
saying.
Mr. Simpson, do you have a suggestion then? If I hate to impose a deadline and a fine if legally she can't fix the property.
Well, we could get clarification from the officer as to whether or not the work would require a permit. Some of the siding stuff might not if it's under a certain amount of square footage.
Some of the wall damage doesn't need a permit because it's like small, like closing in the holes, like the pictures that we were seeing.
Yeah, stuff is really small.
So like replacing some of the siding, but if it's gonna be like major damage, like you're gonna have to replace window seals and that, you'll have to pull a permit for that. Hey, Mark, so they'll have to pull a permit, correct, for the window seal damage? To replace those, or if they're just put sections?
Window unit plugs into a 110-volt outlet,
No, the window itself, the window seal,
like the frame.
not,
Yeah.
So that would, yeah, like that would require a window permit, the damage there.
Let me ask you a question. Officer, is there a way to amend your, I guess the violation affidavit to include what can be corrected without a permit? And then we can give a deadline, and then what cannot be, we'll have to adjust it at another time.
You have a time frame, ma'am, for how long it would be till you get your, all the information into your name?
I don't, not at this time. I don't have a specific deadline.
We want to
I
work.
mean, because I could hire a contractor, but the thing is like, it would have to be no permit. So I don't know.
I don't want to see you back here again for a
Right.
violation without a permit, especially if no fault of your own.
It's my first time, so I'm like, I don't know
Okay.
what to do.
It's okay. We're here to problem solve.
All right. How about we just continue this case to, we'll do it till next month, and then give her time to go to call building planning, and discuss the issue with them. And that way, that'll give her more time to figure out what she needs to do. And that way,
continue to HO, or you're gonna continue to CUB?
well, HO.
It'll have to be May.
Okay, so May, to the May HO. So that'll give you a little more time.
All right. Can you tell me the date for that then, just for the record?
5th.
Should be May 5th, 2021.
All right.
Nope, it's May 7th, sorry.
May 7th?
Oh,
Yeah.
May 7th, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
All right, Ms. Williams, so we're going to continue this to May 7th to allow you some time to get with the zoning board, planning board, to get some more information. Officer, and do you have the officer's contact information?
I don't have anything.
All right, well, let's exchange numbers here so that,
Okay. Where do I go for like the building?
so for the record, we're going to go ahead and continue this to May 7th, and you two can connect, and then hopefully we can get it resolved in the next 30 to 60 days, okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else? Very good. Thank you.
All right. Can I have that paper?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. right, so next I have Officer Barry. It's case number LCE 20 on page 3. LCE 20-01290. I have GG the Third Investments LC and Cody Botwell here on behalf of them. Sorry if I butchered your name.
What was that?
I said I apologize if I butchered your last
no,
name.
you're
Can you
fine.
say it for the record for me?
Cody Boutwell.
Botwell. All right. And Officer Barry.
Okay, well, Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of Lakeland, presenting for Officer Chris Berry. Case number is LCE 20-01290, address is 4545 Gibson Drive. The owner's listed as GG3 Investments LC. The violations are of Ordinance 5425, Section 4.4.1I for fence condition. Date of the violations, February 18th, 2020, to be corrected by March 19th, 2020. Reinspection, January 20th, 2021. Shows that violations remained. At this time, the city would recommend compliance by April 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine would be imposed.
Okay. Mr. Botwell, what do you have to say?
I mow the grass. I was told this was a code enforcement for the grass being overgrown. I had no idea the fence. I can get with the owner of the property and get it handled.
How are you related, or are you related?
I just have an ongoing contract to maintain the property as far as lawn maintenance.
So what,
I don't know that we can,
Well,
I think we'd have to continue it, right, to get the property owner here?
no,
No.
we can hear cases outside of without the owner present, and people can speak on the cases even if they don't own the property, just as any member of the public could speak on a case. We just wouldn't allow a member of the public to act as a representative of the property owner without some kind of affidavit of authority or something like that.
Well, yeah, I guess that would be my concern, is if we push it out to April 4th as is recommended, that would be binding on the property owner.
Right, and it would be just like any other case where the property owner failed to show up. I think it's clear that they had notice, or else they wouldn't have sent this gentleman.
Agreed.
So I think it would be just the same as like an absent respondent type case.
Okay. All right, then you're the bearer of good and bad news for the property owner. We will go ahead and find that there is a violation that still exists as it pertains to the fencing, which needs to be corrected by April 4th. And what was the fine?
or $50 per day after that.
Okay, so the property owner has until April 4th to correct the fencing issue, or a $50 fine will be imposed for every day of noncompliance thereafter.
Okay,
Okay,
that's fine.
thank you.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think the only time that we wouldn't hear a case without the owner is if there was some type of notice issue that you identified, or you had a problem with the way notice was done.
Thank you. Next up on page 8, I have Code Enforcement Officer Povey, and I have Ishmael Cruz here on behalf of the property, and the case number is LCE 20-03998, 180 Case Buyer Street. Anybody?
Mr. Cruz?
All right. Officer Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-03998. Address is 180 Caspier Street. Owner is MB Lakeland Mobile Home Community LLC. The violation is ordinance 4134, section 1, derelict vehicle. Date of the violation was 08/24/2020 to be corrected by 09/03/2020, re-inspected on 01/27/2021, shows that the violation still exists. Photos were taken on February 26, 2021. The city recommends compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine will be imposed.
Okay, the Chevy got already plates and insurance. It's updated to 23.
Okay.
Did anything else have to do with?
Do you have the new registration on the vehicle tag, sir?
I got it already. I didn't have it with me now. I didn't know that was the violation.
Well, it sounds like it was a violation, but we've corrected it.
Yes.
So, what you need to do though is make sure you put that sticker on the vehicle
Yes, I will.
the next time they circle around. That way they don't tag you.
Okay.
Pun
Because I have it covered, so I didn't put it on, but I put it on. It's already on.
No worries. Just for the record then, I'm going to go ahead and put a March 15th date, but just when you go home, put the sticker on and you should be fine. Okay? Yes.
And make sure you call the officer so that he can close the case.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But you also have to read the record the $50 a day fine.
Yes, I will. I will find that there is a violation. It sounds like we will get it taken care of. But for the record, you have until March 15th to correct it, or there will be a $50 per day fine for every day thereafter. But otherwise, you're good to go.
Can you state your name on record? Can you state your name?
Ismael Cruz.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. You
That's
good?
it?
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I put the plates in. I have installed all the plates.
Next, I have Officer Marshall on page 11. And I have Mr. Ryan Cox as the owner of the property.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, Officer Povey.
Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, reading in for Saniqua Marshall. Case number LCE 20-04429. Address is 935 Ruby Street. Owner is Ryan W. Cox. Violation is ordinance 4134, Section 1, derelict vehicle. Date of the violation is 09/09/2020 to be corrected by 09/19/2020. Re-inspected on 01/12/2021 show that the violation still remains. Pictures were taken on March 1st, 2021. City recommends compliance by 3/15/2021 or a $50 per day fine will be imposed.
Okay. Mr. Cox, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, I didn't know what was going on, so here I am.
Okay.
How's that?
Let's fix it. We'll fix it.
Can you state your name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan Cox.
Thank you. So am I understanding that you did not understand or realize that this was a code enforcement violation, sir?
To be totally honest, if I could bring this up. This person heard of it.
All right.
Okay. I mean, I'm good on.
Okay, he'll have to speak down here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And I didn't sign for that either, so I'm not.
All right. So now that you're here and you are aware that there's a violation, do you think that you can get the violations? First of all, do you understand what they are?
I'm sorry?
Do you understand the violations that?
Yeah, I'll be honest, okay? I'll work with you, okay? I started this project, it's a 73 Corvette, okay? Didn't know, okay? I tore it completely down. It's almost back together. Didn't know I was doing anything wrong. In the whole mix of all this, when you took pictures, it's almost ready to go to paint and body, okay? February 11th, the lady that lives with me, my mom, 91, we decided to do this project, and she passed away.
I'm sorry for your.
My life has been going through a turmoil. The Corvette, I'm restoring it, so one day can take it downtown if we ever get things going again and be able to show it. My dream was to rebuild it so Mom and I could take trips in it.
It's beautiful. And I tell you what,
It's almost there.
I will give you 30 days to come into compliance.
Okay.
That's April 4th. Otherwise, there will be a $50 per day fine for every day thereafter not into compliance, but it's beautiful. I admire it. Do your thing.
I mean, yeah.
And don't forget this too. And if you need to have any questions, exchange information, please, with Officer Povey.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right, next I have on page 14. Never mind, we already did that. Page 16, I have Officer Dozier. And I have LaTanya Carson Bell, I believe.
Which case?
Dozier, go ahead.
Which case?
I only have one on page 16. It is LCE 20-05315.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, presenting this case for Andrew Dozier. Case is LCE 20-05315, the address 402 West 7th Street. The owners are Wendell and LaTanya Carson. The property was cited for violation of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3 of the Housing Code, with the violations as listed. The date of violation was October the 23rd, 2020, to be corrected by December the 22nd, 2020. Reinspection on January the 22nd, 21 shows that the violations remain. City would recommend compliance by April the 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Tell me that date again, sir.
Compliance by April the 4th, 2021.
Ms. Carson.
I am totally unaware of the situation altogether. I was in touch with my attorney. I sent him a copy of the letter yesterday. My situation is complicated because it's tied up in a divorce case versus some criminal cases. Actually, I wasn't sure if Mr. Carson was going to be here because he's the one that's at the property and collecting rent. I do not go to the property. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to call like I did before and get police escort to go over to the property because I would like to be able to do a walkthrough to see the findings, but I want escort to go over there to do that so that I would know what needs to be done. But it's complicated because on the 18th, we were supposed to go for a final hearing, but our judges got changed and now the divorce case got pushed back to April, May. So I'm just in a situation where actually Mr. Carson pretty much strong-armed me for the property. I purchased it, and ever since I purchased it, I almost just had to like hands off until I can get through the court procedures so that I can take over the property and do what I was had intentions to do with it.
So you own the property, but you don't actually reside there? Am I understanding
That
that right?
is correct.
Okay.
Mr. Carson moved his stuff into the back of the property and started residing there. After I purchased the property, I had to hire an architect. The back property got fixed. I paid like $35,000 they said if I tore it down, I couldn't build again. So I put all this money in the back and did a brand new roof on it, redid the entire inside, which I wish I would have printed pictures so you could see it. I haven't even been able to, I went once with a police escort over to see, because after I finished the final project, I couldn't even go in. So I got escort to go in to see what it looked like. It looked great. I don't know what it looks like over there anymore. So
I understand. In light of all of the other criminal and sounds like the civil case as well, let's put it out 60 days then?
yeah,
That
my
should-
attorney just wrote to me and said that he'll get it a 30-minute hearing on it. But being that I had the notice, I wasn't sure if he was going to show up here today. And regardless, at the end of the day, I still own the property, so I wanted to show up
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate that you
to know what's going on.
That's
So I'm in touch with my attorney. He's in touch with his attorney to see.
Then I'm going to, for the record, I'll put this out 60 days, so you have, let your attorneys know until May 4th to come into compliance. And then thereafter, it would be a $50 fine for every day thereafter, but that should be, 60 days should be enough for your attorneys to be able to get together and fix what's going on. And if you need more time, get with the hearing officer.
Yeah, because our final hearing, he emailed me back and said it's going to be April, May. Do I need permits for the things that need to be fixed?
That I don't know, but I would suggest you guys exchange information.
That's what I'm gonna need to know.
Ma'am, if it's gonna take 60 days for her to get an answer, maybe if it's all right with you, maybe you can authorize her 90 days.
That would be great because
If her attorney's not gonna get it done, otherwise we're gonna be right back here doing the same thing.
Sure. So that would be June 3rd.
Is
Okay.
that better for you, ma'am?
Yes.
It's up to the hearing officer, but that would just be a.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Thank you.
So strike that then.
How
We'll do-
can I even get pictures of?
We'll do 90 days for the record, which would be June 3rd. Otherwise, a $50 per day fine for every day thereafter. And then, so that's the ruling. But then after this, you guys get together and that way you can get all the information you need to come into compliance. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Madam Clerk, that's all I have. Am I missing anything else?
Yeah, there was a couple that walked in.
Okay.
1311 Columbus Circle.
Page 2, second one down.
So I have Officer Stephen Willis is on this.
You can.
Mom and mother and daughter.
We need their names too.
We'll just need both of your names.
Absolutely.
So for the record, I have LCE 2000808. I have Officer Willis as the code enforcement officer. And ma'am, would you go ahead and state your name for the record too, please?
Margaret Sampson.
Okay. And
And my name is Evelyn Sampson.
Evelyn, did you say? Okay. All right, Officer Willis, go ahead.
Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LCE 20-00808. Address is 1311 Columbus Circle. Owner is listed as Margaret Sampson. Violation is ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, Section 30.53.1 for roofs and roof portions. Date of violation was January 29th, 2020, to be corrected by March 29th, 2020. A reinspection was done on December 2nd, 2020. Result was the violation exists. Photos were taken on February 26, 2021. That shows the violation is still there. City recommends compliance by May 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine may be imposed.
Okay, Ms. Sampson, go ahead. Do you admit that the violations exist and that you can get them corrected in 60 days?
Yes, ma'am. We know the violation. Well, you call it a violation. I didn't know. I thought it was a problem with my house.
Condition.
And we've been trying to correct this
Before you brought it to our attention.
even before. And I don't know what's going on. Now I understand because of the pandemic. But this is been giving me such a headache. Every single person that I try to hire to do this work, they will promise they will come back with a price, this and the other, and they never showed up. Right now I have one person that sent me a text. It was 2 days ago, 3 days ago,
Oh, no, the 19th
on the 19th.
I'll clarify that, yes. Just for the record, I'd like to recap or make sense of everything Mom is trying to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the images you're seeing is our home. We do reside there. It's not a rent-to-unit, unlike some cases you might hear. And we have self-pride, and it does look a bit embarrassing. So, we weren't aware that this was a code that the city could impose for not upkeeping our home. Unfortunately, a hurricane came through this city and state. Was it Maria? Well, in 2018 it was?
No,
Well,
there was another one.
looking at whichever the most recent one that came by prior to your images, due to the water and whatever caused our carport to get that hole, which coincides with what your code is saying, right? So, now you see this tile there. I'm sorry, we put that there. That's
Because the mice are going
Yeah,
through.
we have a mice. So this is just Mother Nature. If Mother Nature don't get you, Father Time will. So I do apologize, city representatives, that our home does look in this condition. But unfortunately, as Mom was stating, prior to your dated pictures, we have done our own diligence and research. So I have contacted several contractors in this town. But unfortunately, prior to the pandemic of shutting down America of March, probably 12th of 2020, I've been doing my research, let's say, 6 months prior to that. And unfortunately, because of our gender, we've experienced that a lot of the people in the field quote us, give us a quote, off the wall. So naturally, we love HGTV, so we are independent and self-sufficient. So naturally, looking at us, my mom's age, close to 70, I'm 41, naturally we couldn't physically get up there. But now that you've been bringing those things to our attention, and because when we reached out to FEMA, I don't recall if it was this most recent bad hurricane, I'll have to do my research to get the timeline correct. FEMA, what is it?
Denied us
Well, the
because there
inspectors,
wasn't
it wasn't
enough
FEMA
damage.
reps. Yeah, they claimed so many percentage of our shingles. And I would like to point out that it was a Fascia or Eve thing, I believe, is the first documentation that our city brought to our attention. And I've actually gone and started replacing some of the stuff. So naturally, yes, because of the way most contractors have been handling us. I do have here business cards of contractors. I've reached out locally, and naturally prior to the March shutdown of 2020, and then now when we started opening back up in January, 2 of the contractors claimed they got COVID, Corona, I'm sorry. So naturally, unfortunately, it's like people are, it's a juggling thing, but it's not a negligent thing on our behalf. That is my vehicle there.
I appreciate you being here, and both Miss Sampsons, I'm going to give you 90 days to hire a contractor.
Here's the thing.
So that should be, it's June.
June, what if we reach, cause this is a work in progress. Like,
Sure.
one guy did a roof on Valencia Street, he texted me on the 19th of February of this year stating the company they use to use satellite images, they're backed up. I've done my diligence, went to ABC, because I'm trying to even pull the permits and do it myself. So as a homeowner, I'm aware of what permits I can fill out and try to do. But this is the problem. We're running in hurdles because of the whole way society and life is trying to transition through this pandemic. So honestly, I would
Well, I tell you what,
beg for you guys to
let
help
me-
us communicate. Like if I reach a milestone marker, like let's say in 28 days, they need to schedule us further back because now those that are picking up.
Exchange your information with a hearing officer if you need more time, but for our purposes, you have until June 3rd to correct it, or there will be a $50 fine for every day thereafter not in compliance. If you need more time, just communicate. I'm learning in life, it's all about communication.
Thank you. I did not know
Thank
you
you
guys
so much.
existed. We communicate. We actually even applied for a loan that the city was offering,
Offering
and
to
they denied
homeowner.
Mom. So that's something.
No, they didn't deny. They put me on hold. They said because of the pandemic. I went there last
That's
Friday.
a denial, Mom. I'm
Well,
sorry.
but at least
Miss Sybil next door got her white picket, privacy fence approval, and that's something I'm adamant and doing my diligence. Happy to ask for some intel from all of you in here. How does that go about? Like, I'm kind of wet behind the ears. No?
All I have is what's in front of me. I'm happy to help you with this.
Thank you.
You guys
Zach.
communicate with each other, and Have a great weekend.
Thank you. We will keep
Thank
in
you
touch.
so much.
Anybody else whose cases I missed?
Page 24.
Sir, have you been
No,
helped?
it's close by. It's right off the,
Page 24 and then
off of
one down.
All right.
Memorial, or not Memorial, what is that? Lakeland Hills Boulevard.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Never mind.
Let's see.
I know what you're talking about. You need
Is
your
this-
card.
Officer Browning?
I was riding my bike and my front tire went flat, so it
Can you
took,
raise your right hand? You affirm the testimony you're about to give us the truth and nothing but the truth?
yes, ma'am. Do I need to take my hat off?
No, you're fine.
I didn't see anybody else with a hat on, so I just thought maybe I was out of place.
Everybody's welcome here, sir. Officer Browning, go ahead.
Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. This is case LCE 21-00289. The address 2617 Buckingham Avenue. The owner is Robert Sanger. The property was cited for violation of Ordinance 5425 in regards to the flag count. The date of violation was January the 15th, 2021. This was a repeat violation, so there was no time given to correct. The repeat violation cases referenced were LCE 18-06433 and LCE 19-02672. The property, the property came into compliance as of January 21st, 2021. The city would ask that you impose a $50 per day fine to run until the property was brought into compliance. That fine totals $300 for 6 days of non-compliance. Staff would ask that you reduce that to 50%, which is $150 plus administrative cost of $98.75, for a total of $248.75 to be paid by September the 5th, 2021, or revert back to the original amount.
Okay.
Mr. Browning, can you clarify what the flag count ordinance requires?
Okay, they're only allowed to have 3 flags, and those flags have to be attached to a flagpole. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags.
I removed those 2 red flags the same day I put the 3 flags on the one in the middle. Same day. I took them and put them on the one flagpole. Well, actually, I only had one at the time, but I put the other 2 on there, and the same day I took down the other both flags that evening. I think one of the code enforcement officers came by, and that's a rebel flag, and I'm not even sure what the other one is. But anyway, I took them down and just left the Trump flags on there.
Okay. And Officer Browning, oh, go ahead.
I was just,
How many days of non-compliance did you say there were?
It was 6 days.
And Mr. Sanger, are you saying that you were not, that it wasn't 6 days that had passed?
I took those flags down the same day that I put the Trump flags the same day, that night.
Right. That's not what I asked you, though. How much time went by between when you knew you were?
I'm sorry, I was a tank commander in the Army. My hearing's not real good.
That's okay. How many days were you not in compliance?
Boy, I still can't understand.
Sir, she's asking, how many days did you have all 5 flags up versus 3?
One day. I put the 3 flags on the middle, and the same day I took the other 2 down. There was no sense. I knew you had a three flag, whatever you call this thing, that I couldn't do it. So that evening that I put those 3 flags in the middle, I took the red ones down. I know somebody came by that day. My next door neighbor called and let you guys know that I had all 5 flags on there. And the code enforcement officer came by, but he kept going. So that night I took down the 2 outside flags and left the 3 on the middle. And I kept it that way until all the stuff was over with. And now I've got 1 flag on each flagpole now. I've still got a Trump flag on one, the American flag in the middle, and a rebel flag on the other one. And that's it. And that's the only way I've done it ever since.
Yeah, the content is not the issue, it's just the number of flags. And it was a citizen complaint, and Mr. Sanger did call me on the 21st, and that's when I went by there and closed out this case.
Okay. All right. I will find that you are now in compliance.
Yes, ma'am.
I will reduce the fine to $100. And what were the administrative costs?
$98.75.
So, sir, I will reduce the fine to only $100 plus administrative costs of $98.75. Thank you for being here.
Okay, now I get my Social Security on the, well, it's the 17th right now, and I don't have any money whatsoever.
You have until September 25th to pay, so you have plenty of time.
August.
Excuse me, that's September 5th.
September 5th.
Yes.
September? Okay, that should be no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll keep the single flags on everything, even though when Trump gets back out there again, I'm not going to fly flags. Give him a couple more years. He'll be back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Have a good
I'm
one.
a Trumper. What can I say?
Listen. All right.
I'll get it in to you. Do I just mail it to you?
I don't know. Get with
They'll
Officer
send you.
Browning, and you guys can work it out. I don't know. Ask Officer Browning.
Okay. I'll do whatever what you request.
Is there anyone else here for hearing cases? All right.
Hey, Donnie, you don't have to stay. It's up to you.
The rest of the day I'm gonna be sitting most of the time, so.
Okay, well, it's up to you once everybody's gone.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Yes, sir.
All right. Who's up? Who's up?
We usually start from the beginning.
Let's, who's covering for, Officer Marshall? All right. I'm gonna do what I did the last time then, and just, since you're sitting, like, we'll go through, hers and yours, if that's all right. It's Povey, right?
Yes.
Okay, so page 1, I have, Officer Marshall, and I have Officer Povey filling in, LCE 19-00457.
So are you gonna have him do all of Marshall's first and then do his?
Yes.
Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland, filling in for Saniqua Marshall. Case number LCE 19-00457. Address is 1063 South Dakota Avenue. Owners are Aaron and Joseph Musick. Violation is ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, Section 305.2, exterior violations to the property. Date of the violation is January 16th, 2019, to be corrected by March 18th, 2019. Re-inspected on January 4th, 2021, show the violation still exists. Photos were taken on March 1st, 2021. The city recommends compliance by April 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that there's an existing violation. The owners have until March 15th to comply, as this has been going on since 2019, or there will be a $50 per day fine for every day thereafter imposed.
All right, next one will be on page 9 at the top.
Actually, you know what? Let me pause for a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch so that Miss Cross can get a couple of these under her belt while we're here. Okay, so. And tell me, where we are. You said page 9?
Page 9, very top.
Okay. Will you announce the case number for the record?
What's that?
The case number, please?
It's LCE 20-04007 or 077.
All right, very good. And the violations.
All right, want me to just go ahead and go through? Okay. Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland, reading in for Sonequa Marshall. Case number LCE 20-04077. Address is 1126 West Lime Street. Violations are ordinance 3947, chapter 3, section 307.4, care of premises, open storage and junk. The date of the violation is 08/26/2020 to be corrected by 09/10/2020. Re-inspected on 12/30/2020 show that the violation still exists. Pictures on March 1st, 2021. City recommends compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine will be imposed.
You said $50?
Yes, ma'am.
So we find that a violation does exist still. And the owners will have until March 15th to comply, otherwise $50 fine will be imposed thereafter.
All right. And that wraps that up for Sunny. On to my cases.
Yes, is that last for, that's the last one for Ms. Marshall?
Yes.
Okay, all right, and would you tell us the page number for you, please?
It'll be page 11,
Okay.
second from the bottom.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-04433. Address is 1641 Wright Drive. Owners are Gatsby and Bertha Victor. The violation is ordinance 4134, section 1, derelict vehicle. Date of the violation is 9/9/2020 to be corrected by 9/19/2020. Re-inspected on 1/13/2021. Show the violation still exists. Photos were taken on 2/26/2021. City recommends compliance by 3/15/2021 or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Okay. So, you agree with that?
Yes, we agree that the violation does still exist. And the owners will have until March 15th to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine will be imposed thereafter.
Thank you. Next page is page 15, and I have the whole page.
All right. So we'll start at the top. And would you mind announcing the case numbers?
Case number LCE 20-05275.
Okay. And go ahead.
All right, Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland. Case number LCE 20-05275. Address is 628 West 14th Street. Owner is the estate of Carrie Hatton. Violation ordinance 4134, section 1, derelict vehicle. Date of the violation was October 22nd, 2020, to be corrected by 11/01/2020. Re-inspected on 1/22/2021, show the violation still exists. Photos taken on 2/26/2021. City recommends compliance by 3/15/2021 or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree. Violation does still exist, and the owners will have until March 15th to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine will be imposed thereafter. And you have the rest of the page as well?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland. Case number LCE 20-05277. Address is 628 West 14th Street. Owners are the estate of Carrie Hatton. Violation is ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, Section 307.4, care of premises, open storage. Date of the violation is October 22nd, 2020, to be corrected by, I think it's supposed to be 11/6/2021. Reinspected on January 28th, 2021, show that the violation still exists. Photos attached on February 26, 2021. The city recommends compliance by 3/15/2021 or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Yeah, I agree. Violations still exist, and we'll give the owners until March 15th to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine per day will be imposed.
All right.
And we'll go.
Next case is right below it. Case number, or Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland. Case number LCE 20-05306. Address is 720 West 14th Street. Owners are Royal View Properties LLC. Violation is ordinance 4134, Section 1, derelict vehicle. The date of the violation is October 23rd, 2020, to be corrected by November 2nd, 2020, reinspected on January 22nd, 2021, show that the violation still exists. Photos on February 26th, 2021. The city recommends compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine will be imposed.
Okay, I agree. Violation does still exist, and we'll give the owners until March 15th to comply. Otherwise, $50 fine will be imposed thereafter each day. And the next one is on the same page, LCE 20-05307. Is that you as well?
That is a affidavit of compliance before hearing.
Okay.
That's all yours.
Yes. And that's it for me.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Start on page 5. The very first one. Christian Perry, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-02450, property address 1032 Clearview Ave. The owner is Julia Ann Nichols. Violation of ordinance 3947, Chapter 3 for care premises. Date of violation of May 27, 2020, to be corrected by November 14, 2020. Reinspection on January 8, 2021. Photos on February 26, 2021 shows the violation still exists. The city recommends compliance by March 15, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree. Violation still exists, and we'll give the owners until March 15th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine for every day thereafter.
Thank you. Page 6. Second one down. Christian Perry, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-03337. Property address 744 College Ave. Owner is David A. Pipkin. Violation of ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, care of premises overgrowth. Date of violation July 27, 2020, and to be corrected by August 11, 2020. Reinspection on December 31st, 2020, and photos on February 26, 2021 shows the property is still in violation. City recommends that the property be brought into compliance by March 15, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree. Violation still exists, and we'll give the owners until March 15th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine for every day thereafter.
Okay. It'll be page 12, third one down. Christian Perry, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-04705. Property address is 137 Lake Morton Drive. The owner is David and Nancy Pipkin. Violation of Section 86-2 for lot clearing overgrowth. Date of violation is September 23rd, 2020, to be corrected by October 8th, 2020. Reinspection on December 31st, 2020, and photos on March 1st, 2021 shows the violation still exists. The The city recommends the property be brought into compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree, violation still exists, and we will give the owners until March 15th, 2021, or a $50 fine will be imposed for every day thereafter.
Okay, page 14, second one down. Christian Perry, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-05110, property address 910 East Myrtle Street. The owner is the Dansby Family Trust. Violation of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, care of premises, open storage and junk. Date of violation of October 13th, 2020, to be corrected by October 28th, 2020. Reinspection on January 15th, 2021, and photos on February 26th, 2021 shows the property is still in violation. The city recommends compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree, violation does still exist, and we will give the owners until March 15th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine for every day thereafter will be imposed.
Thank you. Be page 20, the last one. Christian Perry, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-05669, property address 1112 Nutmeg Drive. The owner is Ronald E. Roberts. Violation of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, for multiple exterior and interior violations. Date of violation of November 10th, 2020, and to be corrected by January 12th, 2021. Reinspection on January 13th, 2021, and photos of the exterior on February 26th, 2021 shows the violation still exists. There was no call for inspection on the interior, so I never gained access to check any status of the interior. The city recommends compliance by April 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree, violations do still exist. We will give the owners until April 4th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine for every day thereafter will be imposed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My first one is on page 6. Last four are 3438, 805 Lafayette Lane.
I'm sorry, could you say that page number again, please?
Page 6, it is the second one from the bottom, 805 Lafayette Lane.
Okay.
Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LCE 20-03438. Address is 805 Lafayette Lane. Owner is James Denman. Violations ordinance 5425, Section 441, fence condition. Date of violation was July 30th, 2020, to be corrected by August 29th, 2020. Reinspection was done on December 30th, 2020. Result was the violation still exists. We took photos on February 26th, 2021. So the violation is still not in compliance. City recommends compliance by April 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
That's fine. I agree, the violation does still exist, and we will give them until April 4th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, $50 fine for every day thereafter will be imposed.
The next one is right beneath that, and that's 1207 Parker Point Lane.
Okay.
All right, Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LCE 20-03483. Address is 1207 Parker Point Lane. Owner is listed as the estate of Nancy Mae Brook. Violations ordinance 5425, Section 441, fence condition. Date of violation is July 31st, 2020. Was to be corrected by August 30th, 2020. Reinspection was done on December 30th, 2020. Result was the violation exists. Photos taken on February 26, 2021 show the violation still exists. City recommends compliance by April 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the date, please?
Yes, ma'am. Compliance by April 4th, 2021.
I agree with that. Violation does still exist, and we will give the owners until April 4th, 2021 to comply. otherwise impose a $50 fine for every day thereafter.
The next case is on the top of page 7, 1224 Buena Drive.
Okay, go ahead.
Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LC 20-03503, 1224 Buena Drive. Owners are listed as Stephen Goldhertz and Linda M. Goldhertz. Violations ordinance 5425, section 441, fence condition. Date of violation was July 31st, 2020, to be corrected by August 30th, 2020. Reinspection was done December 30th, 2020. Result was the violation still exists. Photos taken on February 26, 2021 show that the property is still in violation. City recommends compliance by April 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree. Violation does still exist, and the owners will have until April 4th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine for every day thereafter.
The next one is on the bottom of page 14, and that is 210 West Carver Street.
Okay.
Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LCE 20-05254. Address is 210 West Carver Street. Owner is Alfonso Parchment. Violation is ordinance 3947, chapter 3, section 307.4, care of premises for open storage and junk. Date of violation was October 21st, 2020, was to be corrected by November 5th, 2020. Reinspection was done on December 28th, 2020. Result was the violation exists. Photos taken on February 26, 2020 show the violation has not been corrected. City recommends compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree. Violation does still exist. We will give the owners until March 15th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine will be imposed for every day thereafter.
The next case is on page 17, second one from the top, 715 West Robson Street.
Which page was that? Excuse me.
Page 17,
Okay.
715 West Robson Street.
Okay, good.
All right. Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LC 20-05411. Address is 715 West Robson Street. Owners are listed as James R. Swilly Jr., Barbara Gail Swilly. Violation is ordinance 4134, section 1 for derelict vehicles. Date of violation was October 28th, 2020. It was to be corrected by November 7th, 2020. Reinspection on December 30th, 2020 resulted in the violation still exists. Photos taken on February 26, 2021 show the property still in violation. City recommends compliance by April 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree. Violation does still exist, and we will give the owners until April 4th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine will be imposed for every day thereafter.
Next one is on the very bottom of page 18, 3714 Baird Avenue.
Go ahead.
Oh, you ready? Okay. Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LC 20-05548. Address is 3714 Baird Avenue. Owner is listed as Daniel E. Bowl. Violation is ordinance 3947, chapter 3, section 307.4. Care of premises, open storage and junk. Date of violation was November 4th, 2020, was to be corrected by November 19th, 2020. Reinspection was conducted on January 7th, 2021. Result was the violation still exists. Photos taken on February 26, 2021 shows that the premises is still in violation. City recommends compliance by April 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree. Violation exists, and we'll give the owners until April 4th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine for every day thereafter be imposed.
I believe that's all of mine. Thank you.
Gonna start on page 5. And I'll be presenting for myself and for Chris Berry.
Are you doing yours first?
No, I'm going to do Chris's first. So I'll do the second one on page 5.
Okay.
Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-02569, address 4430 Gibson Drive. Owners are listed as Saqib B. Khan and Shabnam Khan. Violations are Section 86-2 for lot clearing overgrowth. Date of the violation, June 3rd, 2020, to be corrected by July 4th, 2020. Reinspection, January 8th, 2021, shows the violation exists. City would recommend compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I agree. Violation does still exist, and we will give the owners until March 15th, 2021. Otherwise, a $50 fine for every day thereafter.
Then third one down on page 8. Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of Lakeland, presenting for Chris Berry, case number LCE 20-03988, address 606 Rockingham Road. Owners are Maria J. Pizarro. Violations of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, Section 307.4 for care of premises, overgrowth, open storage, and junk. Date of the violations, August 21st, 2020, to be corrected by September 5th, 2020. Reinspection, January 29th, 2021, shows the violation exists. City would recommend compliance by March 15th, 2021, or $50 per day be imposed.
I agree. Violation still exists, and we'll give them until March 15th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine for every day thereafter will be imposed.
Then bottom of page 9, Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of Lakeland, presenting for Officer Chris Berry, case number LCE 20-04106, address 3965 Hampton Hills Drive. Owners Marie Joseph. The violations of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, Section 307.4 for care of premises, overgrowth, open storage, and junk. Date of the violations, August 27th, 2020, to be corrected by September 11th, 2020. Reinspection, January 29th, 2021, indicates the violation remains, and at this time, the city recommends compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine would be imposed.
I agree. Violations still exist. The owners will have until March 15th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine will be imposed for every day thereafter.
Thank you. Now we're going to move to my stuff, and I start on page 23. The one at the top, Tammy, I don't need to present since it was AOC before hearing. Okay. So at the bottom of the page, Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 21-00140, address 906 West 5th Street. Owners Thaddeus Preston. The violations of Section 86-36A for Lakeland Code of Ordinances, disposal of garbage. Date of the violations, January 8th, 2021, to be corrected by January 14th, 2021. Reinspection, January 22nd, 2021, and pictures on March 2nd, 2021 show violations remain. At this time, the city would recommend compliance by March 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine would be imposed.
I agree. Violation does still exist, and the owners will have until March 15th, 2021 to comply. Otherwise, a $50 fine will be imposed for every day thereafter.
Okay. Bottom of page 24. Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 21-00436, address is 3962 Derby Drive. Owner is Brian W. Darling. The violations are for Section 86-3, for dirt, filth, etc. on streets and alleys prohibited. Section 86-4, for offensive liquids prohibited on streets and public places. Day of the violation was January 26, 2001. With correction for January 29th, 2021. Reinspection same day indicated that the violation, instead of being cleaned up and corrected, it had been inadvertently washed down the storm drain, which was, they were directly told, use no liquid for cleanup, this is for an illicit discharge type situation. And it caused irreversible and irreparable damage. So at this time, the city is recommending to impose a one-time fine of $500 for that damage with no deadline to pay.
Give us 1 second.
I also have another statement to add. The property owner and the company the pool company that caused the violation, they both agreed via email to this fine amount so that they wouldn't have to be here today.
Okay.
So they're aware and they're planning on taking care of it, and they agreed to these terms.
And I agree. I think a $500 fine is acceptable. I do think we should probably recommend a deadline for them to pay. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Generally on these, we don't request a deadline.
No.
Well, in order to impose the one-time fine, it has to be a violation that's irreparable. If it's irreparable, then it's incapable of being corrected. That's kind of the definition of that. So in order to make that finding, I think you want to direct them to clean the dirt out of the street? Is that?
No, we're just saying
No.
that it's sometime between now and forever, we should have a deadline to pay.
Oh, to pay? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah,
Have a deadline because it won't revert back to anything.
yeah.
There's no consequence.
Yeah, there's no consequence to not meeting the deadline, so we don't issue a deadline on there.
They're talking about a deadline to pay the fine.
Right. But so what happens, if they should ever try to sell, this would be a lien against the property, and so therefore they would have to get it taken care of before.
Okay.
All right.
That makes perfect sense then.
So the order should indicate that it is the $500 fine for irreparable and irreversible damage.
Jim Daney, Code Enforcement Manager for the City of Lakeland. I guess what you could do, and I guess we'd have to ask Jared and make sure it's all right with Angie, but if you set a deadline, again, there's no consequence, but I'm assuming that you can say that if you don't pay it in 60 days, it goes to 1,000 or something, right?
No, because this is just a one-time of $500. There is no,
But the statute says we can go to 2,500, right? 5,000? 5,000.
it says we can go to 5,000, but because of the nature of this violation, based on the scale,
Okay.
it was determined that the $500 fine amount would be it.
Because normally what we do is we reduce fines to 10% or reduce them to whatever. And if you give them a payment deadline, if they don't pay it, it reverts back to that original amount, whatever that might be. In this case, there would not be an original amount. The original amount would be the 500, right?
Right.
$500, so.
And there are no reductions to it
Understood. Okay. $500 fine then.
for
the-
irreparable and
for
irreversible damage.
Irreparable and not.
Irreparable and irreversible damage.
Thank you.
Yeah, just for your benefit, the statute said it authorizes a higher amount, so we can go, I believe it's $5,000.
Right.
Is that right? Okay. It was 15 in Tampa, so, but you can go up to that amount and impose it one time. But it also, we don't reduce those fines. Other fines that accrue daily, we would reconsider those based on the time that it's corrected. But the same factors always apply in imposing the fine, whether it's irreversible or not, and that's the gravity of the violation, the actions that they've taken to correct it, and any previous violations. Those are the things that you're supposed to be thinking about when you impose the fine amount. Here it sounds like they agreed to a fine amount, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so the next one's on the top of page 25. And it's also going to be for irreversible and irreparable damage. Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 21-00520, address 2450 Chestnut Woods Drive. Owners Ramon Carrua. The violations of Chapter 46, Section 46-1 for nuisances prejudicial to health, and Section 86-4 offensive liquids prohibited on streets and public places. Date of the violations, January 28th, 2021. To be corrected by January 29th, 2021. Really, there's not a correction date because, again, this is an illicit discharge. The issue with this case is either property owner or property manager had a had a plumbing backup. And when they couldn't fix it, or instead of fixing it, they ran a pipe from the house for all the discharged wastewater to run into the ditch on the backside of the property, which is a stormwater ditch that the city maintains and that the local children in that neighborhood play in. So we're not sure exactly what was discharged into it as far as if it was the toilet waters as well. We do know from the property owner, they did admit, or from the property manager, they did admit that initially that it was only the laundry water. Then when I went out there another time, I found chopped onions and things like that, like it was from the sink, the kitchen sink. And so then he admitted that that was also involved. Well, we did some testing, we could never get out there when the flow was active, only saw the remnants of what remained. And so we did a couple different tests on what was left in the pipe, unfortunately, to determine if there was fecal matter or anything like that, any kind of human waste in there. We didn't have enough of a sample, so we didn't get a read on that one. We did have read on other materials, but so once the property owner was notified, they went out there, disconnected the pipe from the canal and said, we'll have somebody fix it today. Next time I came out there, they had the pipe reconnected, draining again to the canal. So because of the intent that was involved and because of the secondary intent, once they reconnected it after they were told that it was a violation, the city's going to ask for a larger fine. So the date of this violation, again, was January 28th, 2021, to be corrected by January 29th, 2021. Re-inspections later determined that the corrections had not occurred and they had in fact been reconnected. So at this time, the city's asking to impose a fine of $1,500 for irreversible and irreparable damages.
And I agree, violation is still existing and.
Well, no, they have now corrected it,
They have
but
corrected it.
because they cannot repair it, we're asking for these fines to be imposed.
Does the 1,500, I have a quick question, does that include the cost of testing?
That's just a one-time fee. It's just a flat fee that covers everything.
Are they tied into the sewer system now with the drain?
That I'm not sure. I know they sent me a video showing that it was disconnected, and since then I've been out there looking, several days later to look to make sure it was still disconnected. There's an open housing case that covers whether or not it is running properly, all the sewage and all the wastewater is properly connected for the sanitary facilities. But as part of my case, if it's still discharging on the ground on their property, that's not part of my illicit discharge. If it's not going into the storm drain or if it's not going into the storm canal, it doesn't involve my case, it would involve another case. So at this time, I can't say that they have corrected the problem as far as the plumbing issues go. That's part of Dan Povey's case for housing. So that's being monitored on its own.
Okay.
So relating to this case, it is now in violation because they've disconnected and they've actually pulled the pipe out of the ground and all that, so they can't be, and it's at ground level, so they can't even collect what's draining from the house if it's still draining.
Right.
To dump it anywhere else. It's just going to go right there on the ground next to the house. So again, I can't tell you if they fixed the sanitary facilities. I can only tell you that they've removed the pipe and they're no longer discharging to the canal.
Okay, and what was the date of the correction? I'm just looking because the paper says that it still exists, but I just want to make sure it is.
Okay, so I don't, let's see, is there, Crystal?
I'm on it.
The last inspection I went out there, does it say pipes are now disconnected and removed from the ground or something?
It sounds to me that there's this other collateral case that's going on that's going to give them a deadline to get their plumbing all up to code. And what the officer's asking is that you just find that an illicit discharge did occur. It's incapable of correction because once that hits the water, it's gone. There's nothing we can do about it. And because of the actions that the person took and tried to conceal it and then coming back, that they're asking for an elevated one-time fine of $1,500.
So I went out there on the 24th to just verify with my own eyes that it was still disconnected after he sent me the video on 2/17 showing that it was disconnected. So I know in that time span, it stayed disconnected, you know, and that's why I waited for a few days to make sure it didn't get reconnected right away. But the case is showing still open because I was bringing it to hearing, so I'll close it out officially today. But I needed it open to bring to hearing.
In that case, I agree. A $1,500 one-time fee.
For irreversible, irreparable.
And irreparable damage.
Thank you. And that's it for me. Oh, Dennis.
Top of page 10, or excuse me, top of page 3. Yeah. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, presenting for Officer Dozier. This is case LCE 20-01169, the address 820 North Florence Avenue. The owner is the estate of Robert Smith. The property was cited for violation of Section 86-2 for lot clearing, overgrowth, and junk, trash, and debris. Date of violation was February the 13th, 2020, to be corrected by February the 28th, 2020. Reinspection on January the 29th, 2021 shows the violations remain. The city would recommend compliance by March the 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that a violation exists, and the owners have until March 15th to correct the violation, or a $50 per day fine will be imposed.
Okay, top of page 10.
Hold on a second, what was that finding? I missed it, did you get it? Okay.
Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, presenting for Officer Dozier. Case LCE 20-04272, the address 643 West 9th Street. The owner is the estate of Eva Mae Clark. The property was cited for violation of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3 of the Housing Code, Section 307.4, care of premises. Date of violation was September the 2nd, 2020, to be corrected by September the 17th, 2020. Reinspection on January the 6th, 2021 shows the violation remains. City would recommend compliance by March the 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that a violation exists. The owners have until March 15th, 2021 to correct the violation, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed thereafter.
Case right below that, Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, presenting for Officer Dozier. This is case LCE 20-04273, the address 643 West 9th Street. The owner is the estate of Eva Mae Clark. Property was cited for the violation of Ordinance 4134, Section 1, derelict vehicle. Date of violation was September the 2nd, 2020, to be corrected by September the 12th, 2020. Reinspection on January the 4th shows the violation remains. The city would recommend compliance by March the 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that there is a violation that exists. The owners have until March 15th, 2021 to correct the violation, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed thereafter.
Okay, case right below that one. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, presenting for Officer Dozier. This is case LCE 20-04274, the address 643 West 9th Street. The owner is the estate of Eva Mae Clark. Property was cited for violation of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3 of the Housing Code, dealing with the accessory structure. Date of violation was September the 2nd, 2020, to be corrected by November the 1st, 2020. Reinspection on January the 4th shows that the violation remains. The city would recommend compliance by April the 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that violation still exists. The owners have until April 4th, 2021 to correct, or there will be a $50 per day fine for every day thereafter.
Okay, page 16. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, presenting for Officer Dozier. This is case LCE 20-05317, the address 414 West 7th Street. The owner is Bettina Crawford. The property was cited for violation of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3 of the Housing Code, with the violations as listed. Date of violation was October the 23rd, 2020, to be corrected by December the 22nd, 2020. Reinspection on January the 22nd, 2021 shows the violation remained. City would recommend compliance by April the 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that a violation exists. The owners have until April 4th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine thereafter.
Page 17. It's the third case from the top. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, presenting for Officer Dozier. This is case LCE 20-05420. The address 1244 North Virginia Avenue. The owner is Will Mack. The property was cited for violation of Ordinance 4134, Section 1, derelict vehicle. The date of violation was October 29, 2020, to be corrected by November the 8th, 2020. Reinspection on January 29, 2021 showed the violation remained. City would recommend compliance by March the 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find the violation still exists. The owners have 10 days, which is March 15th to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed thereafter.
Okay, page 18. Second case down. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. This is case LCE 20-05440. The address 2008 Woodbridge Lane. The owner is Mark Gillum. The property was cited for a violation of Chapter 86, Section 86-2 for lot clearing, junk, trash, and debris. The date of violation was October 29, 2020, to be corrected by November 13, 2020. Reinspection on January the 11th and photos taken on March the 1st, 2021 shows the violation remains. City would recommend compliance by March the 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that a violation exists. The owners have until March 15th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed thereafter.
Page 20, second one from the top. It's Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. This case LCE 20-05656. The address 3500 South Florida Avenue. The owner is Zach 1030 LLC. The property was cited for violation of Ordinance 5425 in relations to a damaged fence. Date of violation was November the 9th, 2020, to be corrected by December 13th, 2020. Reinspection on January the 13th and photo taken on March the 1st shows the violation remains. City would recommend compliance by April the 4th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find the violation still exists. The owners have until April 4th, 2021 to comply, or there'll be a $50 per day fine imposed thereafter.
Page 24. Second one from the top. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. This case LCE 21-00174. The property address is 3834 Woodburn Loop West. The owners are Melinda Lalonde and Craig Cadu. The property was cited for a violation of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, Section 307.4 for care of premises. The date of violation was January the 12th, 2021, to be corrected by January the 19th, 2021. Reinspection on January the 28th and photo taken on March the 1st shows that the violation remained at that time. The city would recommend compliance by March the 15th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that a violation exists. The owners have until March 15th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed thereafter.
And that's all I have.
All right. Madam Clerk, is there anything left that you are aware of?
That's it.
All right, very good. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.